So we are working on question 4 of the project. In part 1, we set up this frequency table and we got Excel to calculate the mean and the variance and the standard deviation. And then we filled in the range and the modal class. We still want to draw a histogram based on this frequency distribution. So here's how we're going to do that. I'm going to select all my frequency values by just dragging through all of those. Not the 55 at the bottom, just the 5 individual frequency values. And I'm going to go up to the top, click on Insert, and then click on this first column graph here, the first 2D column graph. And when I click on that, it's taking a minute to work on it, but it should come up with a graph in just a second here. There we go. Depending on what version of Excel you're using, you might get a little box over on the side that says something like Series 1. If you do, delete that. We don't want it there. Mine didn't put it in, so we're fine. And I'm going to move this over, slide it over so it's not overlapping any of this other stuff. Now we're going to connect the bars, format the bars, and add data labels. So to connect the bars, I'm going to right-click on the second bar here. And that selects all the bars. Notice they all have those little dots at the corners. And in the pop-up box here, I'm going to click on Format Data Series. And a little menu pops up. And see where it says gap width? I'm going to slide that all the way over to 0%. So now there is no gap in between the bars of the graph, which is what we want. With a histogram, we want the bars all right up next to one another with no space between. Now we're going to close this. We don't need to do anything more with that. And outline the bars. So for each bar, click somewhere in the bar. So I'm going to click somewhere in this first bar. And now while this is selected, notice the dots at the corners, I'm going up to the top of the screen here and I'm clicking where it says Format under Chart Tools. And then I'm going to click here where it says Shape Outline and click on the word Automatic. And then I'm going to go back here and click Shape Outline again and go down to where it says Weight. And while I'm hovering on it, this little menu pops up and I'm going to go down here and select 2 1/4 points. So when I click on that, I get these fairly heavy lines outlining that first bar. Now, if you're lucky, it'll do all of them all at once, but mine didn't, so I'm going to have to go through and do the next one the same way. And the next one, remember, we're clicking Automatic and then going down and setting the weight to 2 1/4 points. So now I have all of the bars of the histogram outlined. Okay, now let's add a frequency count to the top of each bar. So the way we do that is right-click on any one of the bars, and in the box that pops up, go to Add Data Labels and just go over here and click on Add Data Label. And that for just the first one, so I'm going to have to go and do it separately for the other ones. So see those little numbers at the top of each bar that tells how high up that bar goes, what's the frequency that it represents. Now we're going to label the bars. Right now they're just labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but we want them to be labeled 1 to 5 for the first one, 6 to 10 for the second one, and so on. So somewhere below one of these bars, I'm going to right-click, and then in the box that pops up, I'm going to click on Select Data. See this box here that pops up, and find where it says Horizontal Category Axis Labels, and click the Edit button below those words right here. So now another box pops up, and in the blank space in this box, I'm going to type quotation mark 1-5, close quotation mark, comma, and then also in quotation marks 6 to 10, close quotation marks, then another comma, then in quotation marks 11 to 15, close quotes, comma, 16 to 20, close quotes, comma, open quotes, 21 to 25, close quotes. So that's the 5 data labels, each one enclosed in quotation marks and then separated by commas. So now when I click OK, and then click OK again, notice now below each bar there's a label for that bar. 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25. Let me remove the line around the outside of the graph. So I'm going to left click somewhere in the upper left corner of the graph in the white area so that it's selected. And then go up to the top of the page, click Format, click Shape Outline, and click No Outline. So that I'm telling it I want no outline around the whole thing like this. Now I'm going to add the axis labels and the title. So for the horizontal axis label, left click any bar. Now at the top of the page, click on Design. And then over here on the left where it says Add Chart Element, I'm going to click on that. Go down to Axis Titles, choose Primary Horizontal, click on that, and then go down here and change it. Right now it just says Axis Title, but I want to change that to the words Amount Spent, and then a $sign in parentheses, because it's amount spent in dollars. And let's make that bold by going to the Home tab and clicking on the little B there. Now for the vertical axis label, go back to, well, click on that again. Go back to Design, Add Chart Element, Axis Titles, this time Primary Vertical. And I'm going to delete what's there and type in frequency of customers. And make that bold. And pull it a little bit to the left so it's not quite so close to the numbers here. And now the title. Right now it just says frequency, but I'm going to click on that and delete it and change it to amount spent. And let's make that bold. And if you want to leave it at this size, you can, or just change it to size 11, or pick something that looks nice. and save it. And now we're done doing everything we need to do. So now you can take that file that you saved on your computer and submit it through Canvas in the place where you submit the assignment for question 4.